coming up on BCN today. The clocks fall back an hour this weekend, but one province says no more. Plus, a child is shot while trick-or-treating in Chicago. We have the details. And British police urge two suspects to come forward in the deaths of 39 people.
Your Canada. Your Southern Alberta. Your stories. From our studios in the heart of Lethbridge, it's BCN Today with Jeanette Roche.
Hello, and thanks for joining us this Friday. Some good news for Riverstone residents. Construction crews are pushing to complete as much work as possible over the next week before winter shutdown on the University Drive twinning project. Intersection work is now complete at University Drive and Grand River Boulevard. However, the intersection remains closed to accommodate work on the two new lanes. Crews are hopeful that work can wrap up later next week for the 2019 season. At that time, the Grand River Boulevard intersection will reopen to traffic entering and exiting the Riverstone neighborhood. If you feel your little ones got more than their share of candy last night while trick-or-treating, there is something you can do about it. Crossings Dental is doing a Halloween candy buyback program where they will pay you $1 per pound of candy that you bring in. Just bring your candy surplus to their office between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. today and tomorrow. They will send the candy in care packages to Canadian troops stationed overseas, just in time for Remembrance Day. Well, the clocks fall back 1 hour this weekend as daylight saving time ends on Sunday at 2 a.m. and goes back to standard time. But British Columbia wants to do something about it. BC Premier John Horgan is going to hold a conference call with fellow premiers and territory leaders today to talk about putting an end to time changes. He's hoping to convince them to follow BC's lead and introduce legislation to drop the fall and spring time changes. Scholars have been pushing for permanent daytime for years, noting that there is a body of international research suggesting that the practice is actually dangerous. South of the border, a 7-year-old girl out trick-or-treating in a bumblebee costume was critically injured in Chicago last night after being struck by apparent stray gunfire.
So this is unacceptable. It's a 7-year-old girl that's trick-or-treating with her family out here and happens to get shot because a group of guys want to shoot at another male while there's a street full of kids trick-or-treating. The child is over at Stroger. She's in critical condition.
Fires continue to burn in Southern California today as a new wildfire has broken out in Ventura County. Authorities there say a wildfire that started last night is threatening 1,800 structures. 7,500 people are under evacuation orders. Firefighters say the flames began on ridgetops, giving residents more time to flee.
At about 6:15 p.m. tonight, the Maria started in the area of South Mountain. That fire was quickly spread by east winds, and it is currently at approximately 5,000 acres. We have over 400 firefighting personnel on the fire right now, and it is moving in a southwesterly direction.
There are about 1,800 structures threatened and about 7,500 people under evacuation orders at this time. We currently have one shelter open for those evacuated. Our firefighting aerial efforts were hampered by someone flying an unmanned aerial system in the area. That's a small drone, apparently looking at photography of the fire. This created quite a dangerous situation. It's not only illegal, but it hampers our firefighting effort.
You may soon be seeing more police officers on the streets of Lethbridge. The Police Commission passed a motion to hire 8 new officers. Deputy Police Chief Scott Woods says that they are sorely needed since 14 officers are currently on long-term or short-term disability, which is close to 10% of the force. Woods admitted that the Lethbridge Police Service is quite strained right now with many officers feeling fatigued and frustrated. The Cardston RCMP got their man. Police arrested 30-year-old Kyle Pace who has been on the run and was wanted for various firearm offenses. Once Pace was in custody, police also found him to be in possession of a large quantity of illegal drugs. Last July, Pace was charged by the Blood Tribe Police with multiple drug and firearm offenses. Should we be concerned that the gaming industry, comics, and even Halloween have grown into multi-billion-dollar empires? The video game industry alone is forecasted to be worth $300 billion by 2025. Thursday at SACPA, guest speaker Dylan Purcell commented on how much the gaming and comic industry has grown.
They are multi-billion-dollar industries, and so you're going to see a lot of Captain Americas, probably a lot of dying Iron Mans, maybe some Thanos at your door. Those are properties that kids have embraced, right? I can't say it's translated necessarily into like comic book sales, but it's certainly made these superheroes pop culture icons. They're on costumes, they're on thermoses, on anything, lunch buckets, right? Like, this is what they've become. They're McDonald's meals now. And that's the commercialization of these things, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, superhero movies are about heroes hopefully doing the right thing. That's not so bad. It's better than a demented doll, right?
Purcell also says that with the commercialization of Halloween increasing, it has become one of the largest consumer holidays in North America, generating more than $11 billion in sales last year. The province announced in a press release that it will be investing up to $20 million over the next 4 years to expand drug treatment courts. Officials say the extra funding will help stop people who are stuck in the cycle of addiction-related crime from reoffending. The funding will double access to treatment and recovery in the Calgary and Edmonton drug treatment courts. The UCP government says it will also fund new drug treatment courts in other areas of the province. No word yet if Lethbridge will be included. The city of Lethbridge hosted a community well-being and safety workshop Thursday at the Coast Hotel. The event was to provide people in our city with the information and support relating to community, social development, and support services.
The City of Lethbridge has recently posted an RFP, a request for proposals, to allocate over $25 million over the next 4 years to address social issues within our community. That funding comes from various levels of government, and when we allocate those dollars, we want to be as strategic as possible. We want to ensure we're achieving the desired outcome. So it started with a social well-being needs assessment about a year ago, where we wanted to do a real deep dive. Before you define a solution, you need to define the problem. So that needs assessment was completed. And then from there, we developed what's called the Community Wellbeing and Safety Strategy, which is really, that's your strategy on how you allocate those dollars to best achieve those outcomes for addressing the social issue.
One of the highlights of the new Alberta budget is that Alberta will be bringing in a new tax on vaping products next year. Details on the tax are limited, but the idea behind the levy is that it will provide a barrier for youth to access vaping products.
This actually predates back to the Notley government. Okay, Joe Ceci, he was our finance minister for quite some time, all for the duration of their government, and he made a comment in 2017 saying that tobacco revenue sales were down by $69 million here in Alberta. And he said that the provinces will be discussing with the next premier's meeting what they're going to do about that, specifically looking at taxing vaping. Vaping is a harm reduction product. It's like NRTs and stuff like that. It's a high cessation rate in the world of 21% without assistance, 60% with assistance. So why would you go and tax something that's a harm reduction tool to get people off of cigarettes unless you're actually more focused on the revenue from the cigarettes?
According to a Health Canada survey from 2017, 35,000 Alberta youth use vaping products. U.S. regulators are reporting that a Calgary-based oil company's pipeline leaked 1.4 million liters of oil in northeastern North Dakota. It's the second significant spill in 2 years along the line that carries oil from Alberta through 7 states. TC Energy's third quarter profit fell to $739 million, down from $928 million a year ago. The pipeline company sold $3.4 billion in assets in the first 9 months of the year. One of Canada's oldest energy companies is moving its headquarters from Calgary to the U.S. Encana is also changing its name to Ovintiv. CEO Doug Suttles says having a base in the U.S. will expose the company to a larger pool of investment in American index funds. He also says the move will not affect any Canadian staff being laid off. Analysts say the move is not surprising given Encana's focus on oil and natural gas liquid, which plays out well south of the border. Meanwhile, Alberta Energy Minister Sonia Savage blames federal energy policies for the move, while Alberta's opposition, NDP, says the province's plan to rescue the economy by slashing corporate income taxes has failed.
We are doing absolutely everything, every step that we can possibly think of. As I said, we're creating the right fiscal circumstances to be competitive, the right regulatory environment, and we're actually fighting and standing up for our oil and gas sector.
What they were telling Albertans that as soon as they will take over, they will get rid of carbon tax, they will cut the taxes, they will give them a handout, and everything magically will come back to normal. Albertans were promised jobs today as we are talking. And what we are seeing that these companies who are getting benefit of their policies, getting $55 million, getting $233 million, they're not creating jobs here, they're not investing here, and they're moving their investments out east towards south to US. So this government policies have completely failed Albertans, and Albertans are still looking for jobs that are yet to come.
British police held a news conference in Northern Ireland today, urging 2 suspects in the deaths of 39 people found in a truck container last week to turn themselves in. Police want to talk to brothers Ronan and Christopher Hughes about possible links to the case. Many of the victims are believed to have come from Vietnam. A sledge hockey team made of top Tier 1 players will be wearing Calgary Flames jerseys when they hit the ice at the upcoming 2019 USA Hockey Sled Classic. It will be presented by the NHL in St. Louis next month. It's the first time Calgary has sponsored a team at the event. Flames assistant GM Craig Conroy says the Flames are thrilled to help grow the sport.
They saw the media and they saw the jerseys and they're just excited. I mean, I think they're ready to get out there and start playing those. So it's going to be fun to watch them in practice. I heard, these are some of the top players in the country. So for me to think there's eight or 9 guys here that are the best in the world, I can't wait to kind of watch them. I wasn't aware there was a need for it. And talking to Brad Lazell, he said, we have an opportunity with this team. Would you guys be interested? And the first thought was yes. I mean, not even... like I said before, it's a no-brainer. I mean, to be able to kind of partner with the team, it just feels like the right thing to do. And then now that we are, hopefully we can just continue and grow and build this relationship.
Former Humboldt Bronco Ryan Strechnitsky was supposed to participate in the tournament, but he is off to Thailand to undergo spinal surgery. Strong winds in New Brunswick and parts of Nova Scotia today have knocked out power to about 24,000 homes and businesses. Here in Lethbridge, we won't see winds quite that strong, but there is a 30% chance of flurries. I will have complete weather details coming up after the break. Welcome back. Here's a look at your weather highlights for Lethbridge today. We have a 30% chance of flurries later on this afternoon, but a high of 4 degrees. A high going up to 8 degrees tomorrow, Saturday, with a chance of showers, but mixed sun and clouds. We're going to get a little bit of everything there for our Saturday. Looking ahead to the 5-day forecast, Sunday, mainly cloudy periods with a high of 8 degrees. Then the temperature is going to drop down into the minuses. -2 on Monday, -4 Wednesday, -9 on Wednesday, and flurries for all 3 of those days. We're going to see the sun shining again on Thursday, though, with a high of 3 degrees. So a little bit all over the place over the next week there. The almanac says that the high this time of year should be around 9 degrees, the low -4. The highest temperature on this day was in 1947. It was 21 degrees. And the lowest temperature was a freezing -27. That was in 1984. The sun rose this morning at a late 8:20 a.m. and will be setting this evening at 6:10 p.m., so just a little less than 10 hours of daylight. Keep in mind, too, our clocks will be going back on Sunday evening, actually Sunday morning at 2 a.m. Looking to the west coast, lots of sunshine in Victoria and Vancouver, highs of 12 and 11 degrees for those cities. Edmonton, mainly cloudy skies, high of 4 degrees, and lots of sunshine in Calgary today with a high of 3 degrees. Over in Saskatoon, they have a mix of sun and cloud plus possible flurries there with a high of 3 degrees. Lots of cloud coverage in Regina today with a high of 1, and a chance of showers over in Winnipeg with a high of 2 degrees. Looking over to Toronto, we've got a mix of rain and flurries with a high of 5 degrees. Same thing for Ottawa, high of 5. And we have a wind warning over in Montreal with a high of 7 degrees with a mix of, we've got some scattered showers there as well. Now, we've got 110 kilometer per hour wind warning in effect for the Maritimes. It's sweeping across the Maritimes there. But in Fredericton, 16 degrees with a chance of thunderstorms there. And like I was saying, lots of wind in Charlottetown, high of 18, high of 17 in Halifax, and lots of wind over in St. John's.
Here's your Bridge City News Community Calendar. Looking for a fun place where you and your kids can play? Come for a fun family night Thursday evenings from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. to the Family Center in downtown Lethbridge. Me and My Family promotes learning through play and provides a safe place for kids to explore through physical activity, imagination, and creativity. For more information, visit famcenter.ca. Celebrate Recovery is a Christ-centered recovery program for any hurt, hang-up, and habit. This group meets Friday nights at the Park Meadows Baptist Church. The evening begins at 6 p.m. with supper and follows with an opportunity to share and connect with others in small groups. For more information, visit celebraterecovery.ca. Begin your Christmas shopping by coming to the Signatures Fall into Christmas event, November 1st to the 3rd at Exhibition Park North Pavilion. Browse this unique handmade marketplace featuring works of over 100 artists, artisans, makers, and designers from coast to coast. Admission is $5. Those 17 and under can enter for free. For more information, visit fallintochristmas.com. And that's your Bridge City News Community Calendar.
Did your kids or grandkids bring in a big candy haul from Halloween? Well, today's daily life hack will ensure that they not only overload themselves with sugar, but also give parents and grandparents a share of the bounty. You should impose a dad or a parent tax where mom or dad gets a 15% share of the candy bars, but can tax up to 100% if the candy contains nuts. Twizzlers and gummies are taxed between 10 and 25%, and anything healthy should be taxed at 0 to 1%. Almost sounds like a math lesson for the kids as well. Are you planning to have a date night or evening out with your friends? The Movie Mill has some suggestions for you. Here is Paul Arthur with the Movie Mill Minute.
Ad Astra. 30 years ago, Clifford McBride led a voyage into space, but the ship and crew were never heard from again. Now his son, a fearless astronaut, must embark on a daring mission to Neptune in order to uncover the truth about his missing father and a mysterious power surge that threatens the stability of the universe.
The Earth put its hopes in him. And now, it's fate. It's on me.
We have a job to do. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Out of Liberty. In the winter of 1839, local jailer Samuel Tillery is tasked with watching Missouri's most wanted men as they await their upcoming hearing. Caught between the locals' increased drive to remove the prisoners and the desperate efforts to survive, Samuel is pushed beyond what any lawman can endure.
You got the most hated men in Missouri in there.
You know they're innocent, right?
You have to convince the state to release us.
How long are you gonna keep protecting them, Sam?
Nobody needs to die today.
Samaritan's Purse continues to help thousands of Syrian refugees who have recently crossed into Iraq. These desperate people, the majority of whom are women and children, are fleeing in the wake of Turkey as early October invasions into northeastern Syria. Their disaster assistance response team is distributing relief, including water blankets and hygiene kits, to families in need in the United Nations transit camp in Sahila, at the border of Iraq and Syria.
We're here in Bardaresh, Iraq, meeting the Syrian crisis. The number of refugees crossing the border has far exceeded what was anticipated. This camp, which we thought would take months to fill, has actually filled in days.
You can imagine just leaving your country, leaving all the things behind you and coming to a new place without having drinking water, without having health care, without having wash facilities.
خانی خال ورهلا خانی ما مالا ما گیته داو وام پر مهمر ده که بکام ور سلامتی به معنی زارو که من نترسن ورا.
We were called to meet people as their neighbor. And these people, even though they live very far away, are our neighbor. We need prayer that people stay safe. Because while there are roughly 12,000 people at this camp, there are still 200,000 people across the border who are displaced, hungry, and tired.
Well, there have been a lot of fireworks at the legislature since the UCP government unveiled its budget. Our legislative reporter, Tyler Dawson, has details coming up after the break, so keep it right here.